Hello and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered. My name is Mahlangu, as always. And today we're coming to you from Riverside's Incubation Hub, and we're here to see a lady who is in the food space. Can I say food space? No, it's in the FMCG sector. Let me be specific. It's not a game. So I'll let the lady introduce herself. Over to you, lady.
Hi, Arthur. So my name is Bontle, and I own a health bar called Baaa Health. So we are in the FMCG space, food and beverage production more specifically. And we've been in the industry since 2017. So, 2017 was when we actually had our first run with the business. But the business started before that. It starts in your mind, obviously, with an idea.
Definitely.
Yeah. So since 2017, we started at pop-up markets. There's one in Pretoria. 012 Central.
Market at the sheds.
Yes, yeah. That was our very first market. Hey, that market, yeah, it set the tone for us. That's a market that really gave me hope in this business. I don't know if you've read The Alchemist.
Barely.
Okay.
Couple of pages, just in number
It's
8.
not your kind of book.
Yeah, man, it didn't pull me in.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So it is a fiction,
Yeah.
but I think it's the story behind it that resonated with me a lot.
Yeah.
And so it speaks about when you're on the right path, there will be things that confirm that you're on the right path.
Yeah.
And even if you get struggle along the way, or if you find struggle along the way, hold
That's
on to
the
those
confirmations.
affirmations. Yes, yes, I'm on the right path.
Yeah.
So at that market, our first market ever, hey, I don't know what I was doing, and mind you, so it was in the plans for a long time.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes we were like, I wanted to launch perfect.
Yeah.
So I was working.
You want
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want nonsense. You want, yeah. So I was working before that in retail. I was working in retail. So I was like, no, I'm going to save up. And then once I'm good, I'm going to leave. And that didn't happen. So I had to leave prior because like things are getting, yeah. So I left before the time I planned to leave. So I only had just like a little bit of money, and I didn't have the plan executed 100%. And I called this market on Monday, just to find Monday or Tuesday, just to find out do they have space? You know, how much do they charge? You know, like what's this thing? What is this thing? It was the first market that I called, and I called them. They're like, yeah, we've got a market this Saturday. And I think it was 500 at the time.
The stall.
Yeah, the stall is 500. So I was like, not bad, you know. And she was like, yeah, we've got space. So would you like to come? Right? And I was like, yeah, no, it's Tuesday. I don't have any. They haven't bought stock. I've been trying smoothies and all myself at home. But I hadn't even gone to the market to check, okay,
Pricing.
yeah. So I know what the price is at my shops, the local shops. But market is for when we buy wholesale now. So I was like, hey, you know what, I don't know, let me call you tomorrow. And I spoke to my partner at the time, and I was like, hey, they say it's this Saturday. Yeah, so you're going, right? And I was like, no, man, I don't know. No, I'm not ready. You know those excuses. But I eventually decided to go. And when we got there, we sold out twice at that market. So we got there with the stock we had. It finished. I had to send someone like, these things that we are short of. That sold out as well, and after I was like, I'm not buying anymore. Just I don't want to curse anything. Yeah,
It's enough. It's enough.
I don't want to jinx
the experiment as well.
Yeah.
So why smoothies? Why go into smoothies? How did that come about?
So I grew up in a family that ate generally healthy. So my parents would eat a lot of vegetables, fruits. So I was raised in a healthy home, and then I went off to tertiary. So I was living on my own, and then I was working in retail, obviously. So I'd carry my own lunches, and smoothies was one of the things that I'd make for myself, you know, and sometimes carry to work. And it was the thing that I felt was the easiest for me to make. And I think there was something happened in my mind, some point, I don't remember the exact day, but I was like, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, why not this thing that I make so often?
Every day.
Yes, yeah. So I don't know if there's ever a point where I said, I want to start a smoothie business. There was just that.
I've been doing this for long enough for me to know that this works.
Yeah, let's try this. So the smoothie idea began. Of course, we started in smoothies. Thank you very much. And then we grew from that, because pop-up markets obviously did something similar to this, where you just put it in a cup, but that's not sustainable. What if you're not at the pop-up market? How do you transport it to clients? You want your business to make revenue even when you're not there. So then we gravitated into other products, and also to give us a wider audience or wider customer market.
For consumption.
Yes, exactly.
Because the numbers, it needs to add up.
Yes, that's a numbers game. Yes, it's a numbers game.
So take us through the early days after you were like, you know what, this can work. The market has confirmed that, you know what, people like this and people can actually drink this. What next?
So then it was markets.
Yeah.
I remember we did one, the next market after that, the one called Soweto, what is it called?
Is it the one called Vilakazi?
Yes, yeah.
I forgot the name,
it's
but I know it.
Orlando, yes. We did that. Same story, we sold out again. I was like, this is and we did a lot more markets, but we did some bad markets as well after that, where we sold, I remember there was this one market, we sold 3 smoothies. 3. The whole day. So you pay for the stand. At the time, my employee was my brother and sometimes my mom. So I could negotiate to them and
let's just go.
So some markets were bad, but I held on to those good ones, and that is something that I've realized is a trait of entrepreneurs. You hold on to the highs. Man, this thing is my thing. And even when it's bad, you're like, it's a market, it's not me.
It's not me. It's not my product. It's them.
Exactly.
So you go now. You are markets, and you're building up, of course, the confidence for you to, dream bigger and do more. So how do you make the shift to now I want to go into manufacturing? What happens?
So now it's just weekends. Weekends were busy. And the numbers are great at markets. Anyone that's done markets would know. It's nice on weekends. But during the week, what then? But also customers were like, oh yeah, we liked that smoothie. Do you mind bottling it for us? And I'm like, what do you mean? So I think it was also a push from my customers. And we're starting to realize the popular combination. So would allow our customers to make their own fruits and vegetables. And we're starting to realize, this is happening over and over again. So we'd give them a list of fruits and vegetables. They choose, let's say, one of the popular ones was beetroot and banana. They keep on choosing that. And we're like, why do people, and different areas would choose the same combinations. It's like they tell each other, guys, when we go to that market, that's all we buy. Other markets would be strawberry and pineapple. You're like, who said strawberry and pineapple is the nice one, guys? But all of them do that. So those combinations also became something that moved me to say, but maybe let's, I remember, I think it was maybe like 2018 or so, like 6-7 months after we started, where I was like, hey, maybe let's try to bottle now. Because it's not sustainable, this weekend thing. It's nice because during the week, maybe you can rest, but we want to grow. You don't want to chill, especially at the beginning of your career. So we moved into that just for clients. So we were moving to Ata, to Bontle, to Thabo, but it also then was not sustainable at some point to individual clients. And that's where we pivoted to business, and that's where the manufacturing part started to make sense now.
Because the B2B pivot is, I'm throwing myself into the conflict. B2B, it's something that we don't realize that we need when we start. But as time goes, you see that the numbers are not really giving you what you need for it to be sustainable. That you need to look elsewhere for you to get, the money that is going to prop you up.
Exactly.
So what would you say your challenges were when you made that pivot to B2B?
So I don't think it's that we don't realize we need it. I think we lack confidence to follow that path at the beginning.
You think so?
Because we're still starting. So hey, I'm still a small player. So also it comes with confidence to say, but this is a good product. If people keep buying from me at the market, there must be something. So I think it also came with that confidence.
Confidence. So the challenges of making that pivot, just take us through maybe 3-4 challenges you experienced that was significant for you in the beginning of your journey.
So I think no. It is a problem as well.
It's a problem.
No, that is a serious problem.
It's a problem, but material. Let's talk about sure.
So one of the challenges that I personally faced was changing the language, because when you speak to a client, a direct customer versus a business, the language is very different, because the person who owns a business is looking at their customer, and it needs to make sense for them to push to their customer. So that was a challenge, to understand the lingo that they use, you know,
with their
customers, yes. So understanding that market. I think one of the second challenge, or another challenge that I faced, was just making things make sense for our business in terms of the larger. So we went retail first. That was our business to business. So making things make sense for us as a business in the retail sector. Do we want to be known as that? And it was a challenge, because I've always wanted to work with customers, like, and not businesses. Yes, because the relationship is very different. It's personal, and I think that's a problem with when you are the business. I enjoyed that interactions with customers and markets. Yes. Yeah, and I felt like they know the business, they're gonna grow the business. So moving myself from the mindset of, hey, you own a business.
You are not the business.
You are not, yeah. So that was one of, and to a certain extent, I still struggle with it, honestly speaking, to know that I don't need to be here
for the business to be able to do its thing.
And then the third challenge I think that we struggled with in pivoting, besides funding.
No, it's fine. You can put the funding thing. I was just pulling your leg.
No, funding was a challenge.
Funding was a challenge.
Yeah, but I think also it's about being resourceful. So we don't have everything, but we work with what we have. So that was just one of the things.
That was actually, you just took me back to when you had funding with this other company that one with the red logo.
Yes.
So how did that work out? That was years ago though.
It was years ago.
Yeah, it was years ago.
I think I'm always grateful to the help that we've received along the way. But you also learn lessons sometimes when you get certain assistance, right? There's certain requirements that they also have on their end, and those expectations sometimes impact what you can do in the business and how far you can throw yourself. So I don't want to say I'm grateful for funding. I'm really grateful, but just be careful of also where you get your funding.
Where you get your money from.
Because sometimes there's an element of control over what you can do, how you can do it, who you can do it with.
And it can change the whole trajectory of the business. Because you are doing this so that you can get that money. Of which you might find that the path you're taking wasn't the path that you intended to be on to begin with.
Okay,
the challenges, define, the journey, but with challenges, of course, comes, solutions and comes, lessons. So what would you say from the challenges that you had or in your journey were the lessons that you really took away? Of course, you shared the one hour, be aware of where you're taking your money so that you don't get, into a lane that you're not supposed to be in. What would you say are the other lessons that you learned, throughout the journey?
I think in terms of challenges, one of the biggest challenges I faced was a personal challenge. And we take for granted that life is happening whilst you're building this business. And so in my journey, I lost my mom. And that was it was a big thing for me, because that was all I knew. So now you need to create a new normal in your life. And I think she was a big part of my journey. Not I think, obviously she was a big part of my journey. And a big part of my business, because I think even when I explained at the beginning, the reason why I started is there's a lot of influence from her.
From home.
Even during my journey, she would give me ideas on how to do this and that, and she was in business herself. So I think that's where I learned a lot of my business acumen from, and a lot of things came to me easy because I had seen them being done before. So now there was no bouncing board to go to say, you know what, I'm thinking of 1, 2, 3. What do you think? And now you have to recreate, or you have to redefine who you are and what this
means.
So I think that was one of my biggest challenges.
Loss.
Loss.
During the journey.
And already it's at that stage in the journey where, hi man, numbers are not making sense in the business. You're already stressed with the business. Now this thing comes. So it's a stress on top of stress. So I think also it was a difficult time for me. But it's also something that, a time that I'm really grateful for. I think anyone that has lost a parent will also say, if that didn't break me, nothing will. So I think I'm grateful for it because it has made me a lot stronger in retrospect. Of course, it's not something I'd wish upon myself.
Of course.
Yeah.
But it's added to who you are today.
Exactly.
That's huge.
It has.
Very significant.
Yeah. Another one of the biggest challenges is just association. So defining the relationships around you after, or in general, with business partners, your relationship. One of the things that I take very seriously is the relationship that the key relationship with which is your life partner. They can make or break you, and I've seen it happen so many times around me. So that's something that I'm really conscious about, to say, is this person really right for me?
Are they going to add to my cup? Or are they going to take away from my cup? So, I mean, of course, I think that's a very important lesson, because you spend most of your time with, if you have a partner, you'll be spending most of your time with them. So what they think about what you do and how they support it really has a bearing on whether you are going to be in the right frame of mind to execute.
Definitely.
I get that. I get that. Loss, I think generally loss is part of the process.
It is.
Like you need to share certain people, they need to accept that certain things
are not the same
and they'll be taken away from you.
I think also, speaking of loss, another one of the challenges that I faced is letting go of things in the business that don't work. So one of the things that I've struggled with is certain products in the range that are not making money. They're moving,
but you like them.
You love them. They're your babies. You think about your babies, like but I created this. So letting go to say, but this thing that cost me more than it's worth, because it only sells X amount of times a month. So getting to that point where I understand that don't hold into the product. This product it would bring your brand down. It would say your brand. Let it go. Get something that works, or work with what works, and then take it from there. So learning that was difficult. So I have a tendency to hold on. But it's not me only. I've realized that a lot of entrepreneurs, we hold on.
I had that problem, and it held me back for so many years. Not to be able to say, okay, this is not working, let's pivot to this.
But how do we know the difference between hold on, it's going to get better, and let it go? Because like
I think it's I can liken it. I'm a sports fan. I can liken it to a player that's playing soccer, and him to make the decision. You're next to the goalpost. Do I pass or do I shoot? I think it's a feeling more than anything. You will know. I think you will know. I don't know how to explain it, but
you will know.
There's a time when where you feel like, actually, no. I think it's time for us to change direction and steer a different course. So I mean, you've been in this game of entrepreneurship for a long time, and of course the lessons, the challenges. So can you just maybe talk, about the space of entrepreneurship in general? For people who are coming in or who are thinking about coming into entrepreneurship or starting their own businesses. Top 3 tips that you want to give them. Vusi chilling there at home, has a business idea and wants to start. What are the top 3 tips you can give them?
Coming with a lot of patience. I think, and on my journey I've realized, because a lot of people will come and ask, because of course like you're saying, we've done this for a number of years. And they'll ask, business, what do I do? How do I start? But I want something that will, in the next 6 months, it gets a sharp. And I'm like, whoa! The minute you get that idea, that 6 months idea, let me know also, because I also want that. But so, come in with patience, knowing that it's not going to just boom overnight. If it looks like someone has boomed overnight, it's probably because, exactly. So come in with a lot of patience. Know that you're going to lose a lot in the beginning, and it's okay. You're paying school fees. We all pay school fees. It's a necessary part of the game. But don't take it hard. It's not about you personally. It's just grooming who you're supposed to become. And I think the third lesson is just make sure you have make sure your network is tight. It's a big network. That that has been key for me personally. It's not about what you know, what you do, it's about who you know. And not in a sense that you can't be successful without people, but you need people to help you get to the next level.
Yeah, because starting from the beginning, I mean, personally, I remember there was a guy who said to me, whatever number you think you have in your head, how long it's going to take you, multiply that by 5.
Yeah.
And I was like,
this guy doesn't know it.
Doesn't know me. I'm going to I'm going to move and and every time things were tough and there was no movement, I remember that guy's and I only met that guy once. Once he was one of these consultants giving us a master class. I don't even remember his name. But I can still remember his voice and his face. Every time,
and he was right.
He was right. Much like, because I thought initially it was going to take me a year, next year I'll be fine. And we're 5 years in now. And it's only now
you're starting to see.
Exactly. Clear picture of what is happening. So it's the patience, it's knowing that you're going to lose things in the journey, and also your network. And then
another one, I think. Let's see, what's key?
Self? Maybe?
Self, learn to balance. You know what, we need to pour as much as we can into these businesses, 120%, honestly. But don't forget about yourself. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget what you love. Don't stop doing those things. Of course, now if you're partying every weekend, it may not necessarily be a good idea for the business. But if you enjoy hanging out with people, make time for that, because you get to a point where you burn yourself out. And then you can't do anything for another 2 months because your mind is just not going into gear. So I think also that was a hard lesson that I learned, where I was burnt out for a long time. I remember actually last year in November, in the middle of November, I was just like, when are we closing? I can't anymore.
This thing must end. This thing must end.
But you can't stop. You can't say, I don't want to do this anymore. So I felt at that point of I'm not okay anymore because I've just been on the go. Have you ever noticed when you put your car in I think now maybe I'm in gear 2 now. I've been in gear 2 for 500 kilometers. At a certain point you can hear the car. The car's not okay.
It's like, no,
change gear. Change down maybe.
I know what you mean. So what would you say the ecosystem and entrepreneurship needs? I mean, looking at who we are as black entrepreneurs,
that's a sign of good luck.
It's a sign of good luck.
And money.
Really?
But you owe me half of it because you're here. It's only more so.
So that's where that factory is coming from.
You see. I knew. Right?
And I like emphasizing the journey because it creates who we become on the other side. Right. So, and the ecosystem as well, being other entrepreneurs that we interact with, the spaces that we go to see other entrepreneurs and what they're doing. What do you think is missing for specifically, entrepreneurs that are coming from, backgrounds like ours, where, we don't necessarily have the best of opportunities? What would you say is missing to help, bridge that gap for people to be, fueled to enter the space, or what the space needs to make people, enter and to assist them, to support them?
I think 2 things come to mind immediately. Number one, we need to learn to work together more as entrepreneurs. So we say this a lot, that let's create these things, let's create these networks, but we don't actually work, we don't actually end up working together. It's a conversation of like, maybe one day in future we'll do this next, but we don't do it. So if we work together, I think we'll get a lot more done. We see it in other communities where they'll do things like buy together, or they'll bank together, or they'll just chip in. We don't have that. And it goes to point number 2, trust. So we need to trust each other a lot more. And the trust is, it's not just between entrepreneurs, it's between the businesses that you work with, so the corporates, your clients. No one trusts anyone here.
Yeah.
So I think even the country, the government doesn't trust us as
Yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So I think we need to bridge those two gaps.
Yeah.
We see it in our funding models where if you go and apply for funding, a certain level of amount of funding, you as a young black man are not as likely to get it as another white counterpart. It's not because your idea is not good. It's not because you haven't paid your dues in this business. It's just because, hey, what if you go and buy a Lamborghini with this money?
Yeah.
Why don't you trust me enough to think that I will take this money and build an empire with it? Why are you judging me based on my predecessors? Yes, there are some people that went to buy Lamborghinis, some black people that went, but there are also white people who did the same thing. So why are we being judged so harshly? There are good people who have taken that funding and built an empire, but you don't look at them and think, no, maybe let's use that as a grading mechanism. So I think those two things need to be addressed very seriously by all of us. It starts with me speaking like this. I need to trust other entrepreneurs. I need to trust other businesses. So
I mean, you know, what you said about the funding aspect of things, it even has my, you know, I'm thinking of so many questions to ask just on that funding, but if I do, we'll be here until Tuesday because there are a lot of holes and gaps. But just briefly, for you, what has been the experience in terms of the funding aspect of things? Excuse me. The challenges that you had. What are the gaps and what do you think can be done better? You know, moving away from the trust element or the trust issues, and let's look at the frameworks that they are using to determine if we're getting money or not. So what do you think, in your experience, can be done better there, or if there's anything?
I think definitely do your research, but don't get stuck in that phase. You know what? If you have an idea, work on it. Make sure you understand the execution, the dynamics of that industry or that market or that idea, but get to a point where you execute. And once you've executed, if it's not working, learn fast and let it go as fast as possible. So one of my biggest challenges was just letting go, learning that this is a mistake, you can let it go. You don't have to try to fix the mistake. Sometimes it costs more to fix the mistake than to let it go. So learn what to let go of and learn fast. But also just really going to an industry that you love. You know, I get it when people say, follow your passion, because it gets tough. It gets tough to a point where you don't want to wake up in the morning and pursue this idea anymore just because of how tough it is. So definitely follow your passion. And I laugh because I'm also like, yo, but the passion is money.
You go hungry.
You will go hungry, but I think that's worth it. I really do think once you reap the fruits of your labor, it will be worth it. And also, don't follow the popular trend of the day. We see that a lot with
how people start businesses.
Yeah. So don't go into what's trendy. Really ask yourself who you are. Go inside of yourself. Who am I? Who do I want to be? And how am I going to do that? So answer those questions for yourself before you even step foot into this industry, and that'll make your journey a lot easier because it also helps you with decision making. Is this for me? Not every opportunity is your opportunity. No matter what. If they say there's R1 million worth of funding, come apply. Sometimes it's not for you.
It's not for you.
You know, this is not me. So know yourself, know your business, and know where you want to take it.
That's actually quite a mouthful. It takes me back also to when I started, where I thought I knew, but only to find out that I was just all up in my head, and not executing on facts and research. So, lastly, what are we to expect from Bontle Tshole and Baaa?
So what does the next 5 years look like?
Next 10 years, what's happening?
The next 5 years, I really want to make sure that the brand saturates the market. It's about time. I mean, it's time for I believe, change, time for new ideas. So we've been working towards this for a long time. So you'll see us in a lot of retails, a lot of restaurants, cafes. We also really want to open our own stores. So in the next 5 years, you should be able to see that at a large scale level.
Franchise.
Hopefully, yes. Hopefully.
Please.
Yeah.
Franchise.
Yeah, definitely. But also for Bontle, outside of Baaa, I really do want to give back a lot more of me and what I've learned. And I'm not a genius and I'm not an expert in this industry, but I've learned a lot of lessons that I don't think were necessary because, and I'm not blaming anyone, but those that were at the top didn't tell us the truth about this industry, what to expect, the things that go wrong, the things that go right, you know, how to do little things. We learn on the job. So I don't think people need to go through that, especially young Black women. We don't have a lot of people to look up to that look like us, think like us, feel like us. So I think I want to impact in a lot more young Black women in South Africa. So expect to see me doing a lot of that.
Yeah, young Black women, you guys have heard. The next 5 years is yours.
Yes.
Bontle is here for you. So when people are looking for Baaa and Bontle, where do they find you? Social media, you know the things. Instagram, Facebook, things.
So on the socials, Baaa Health, BAA_health, HEALTH. Email info@baahealth.com. On my personal profile is on the socials, Miss Tshole. So Miss_MS_TSHOLE. LinkedIn somewhere here.
Oh, here. No, but here, no. But somewhere. Yeah.
Or LinkedIn, Bontle Tshole. Yeah.
I didn't ask you why Baaa.
So Baaa is actually a pet name. So growing up, my younger brother couldn't pronounce my name, which is Bontle. So he would say Baaa, and he was like he was learning how to talk.
Yeah.
So my older brothers started to make fun of me, got that name, but it stuck. So I thought it would be a good name for a brand. I think it was, for me, I thought at the time it was memorable, it was something that would stick, and it turned out to be really great for me. So thank you to those who can't speak or who are learning how to speak.
Wherever you are.
Yeah.
If you can't speak, thank you.
We love you.
Thank you for having us. It was a great interview. I got to learn so much about you, things that I didn't know, and I've known you for years. So thank you for that. Thank you for creating Baaa. Thank you guys for joining us for this episode with Bontle out here in River Sands. Catch us on the next episode. We're doing another one, of course. But in the meantime, follow us on socials, Twitter, Bistweek SA, Bistweek on Instagram, Facebook, and the other social media platform. And then Mahlangu on LinkedIn to Mahlangu on Facebook. Bistweek SA on LinkedIn as well. YouTube, Bistweek SA. Sharp.